My name is Brad Heron. I'm 34 years old. I reside in Westcliff, Colorado with my wife Autumn, and we are expecting our first baby in March of 2018, and his name will be Braden Allen Heron. I was burned at the age of 19 manufacturing methamphetamines. Um, Horrible choice and consequences to prove it. Um, I was born and raised in southwest Kansas, outside of Liberal, Kansas, actually, out in the middle of nowhere, pretty much, 18 miles from town, and 15 miles from the closest town, to be exact, with Hugoton. And I probably had more positive male role models in my life than anybody could have ever asked for. My dad is a great man. He's my best friend, and he showed me what it means to really be a true man, and that means what he says and says what he means. And didn't always make the best of choices at the beginning, but I've learned in life it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish.
How did you look at life before you were burned?
Before I was burned, I would say that I looked at life pretty much like most 19-year-old kids do. I wanted to have fun, and life was all about me. Whenever we're young, it's all about, well, I need a new pair of cleats, Mom, or I need this for school, or I need that, or I want this, or I want that. It's all about I. And, I told myself the lie that a lot of us tell ourselves when we're young that, I'm just a kid now, I'm just having fun now, I'll change when I get older. But I learned real quick that at the age of 19, on January 7, 2003, you don't always get that chance to change when you get older, when you're making poor choices.
How did you view others with disabilities before and after?
I would say before my accident, I looked at people with disabilities, probably not much different than I do now. I have a new respect for people with disabilities now after going through what I've been through and having to overcome adversities and obstacles and having to retrain myself how to do, menial tasks that we do every single day that we take for granted, buttoning up our pants, taking care of our very basic needs and necessities. All of those things that just seem so contrary to us right now and easy whenever you have the life-altering experience and all of a sudden those things aren't as easy as they once were. It's a very humbling experience, and I have a lot of respect, and my hat's off to a lot of people with disabilities.
How did this change what you focused on in your life?
My focus before my accident would have been all about me. What I can get, if I could drive this car and have this girlfriend, wear these clothes, and hang out with these people, that was pretty much where my identity was wrapped up in. It's in materialistic type of things. Since my accident, I found out that, those things don't mean much in life. What truly means something in life is our family, our friends, those times that we get to spend with other people, and basically giving hope back to those people that are pretty much hopeless.
If you had the chance to change the event that happened, would you?
I wouldn't change what happened to me. For one, it allowed me to meet my wife Autumn. If I wouldn't have been burned and my accident wouldn't have happened, I would have met her. And my wife Autumn is definitely my better half. My wife, she puts up with me every single day, and that's saying something about it. She's a burn survivor as well. She was burned at the age of 17 in a chemistry lab explosion in high school, and her and I actually met in North Carolina, what's called the World Burn Congress. The World Burn Congress is a nonprofit organization that once a year, for 1 week out of that year, they pick a different city, and burn survivors and their caregivers and family and friends can all come to it, and you get to meet other people that are burned. It was a very therapeutic thing for me the first time I went because I had never met anybody else that was burned coming from a very rural area. And my wife and I got paired up in a peer group with one another. We were writing our likes and dislikes on a piece of poster board. And I asked her, I said, Autumn, how did you get burned? And she goes, well, I got burned in a chemistry lab explosion at the age of 17. And she said, Brad, how did you get burned? I said, well, I got burned in a chemistry lab explosion in my El Camino. And she goes, oh my gosh, really? I said, well, kind of. I was performing chemistry. And hey, I guess it was a pretty good line because she hasn't been able to get rid of me ever since.
Did your accident change your empathy for those with disabilities?
I would say yes in a way. Like I said on the previous a couple questions ago, it really gave me a new respect for people that have had to overcome hard obstacles in life. It allowed me to connect with them on a more personal level. A person with an experience is never at the mercy of a person with an argument. So you can tell me all day long that you know how I feel, but honestly, unless you have been burned like I have, you have no clue how I feel. And so I look at it in the same way, with people with disabilities. You don't know the road that they're walking down. You don't know the shoes that they wear every single day. So before somebody goes to judging somebody, they should take a step back and try to walk a mile in their shoes before they start thinking they know something else.
What would your advice be to anyone who's going down the same path that you did?
Don't do it. It's pretty simple, it's pretty plain, but I've learned in this life that the things in this life that we deceive ourselves with, what I mean by that is the things in this life that we lie to ourselves about. Like I lied to myself, telling myself I'm young, I'll change when I get older. But those things in life that we deceive ourselves with, inevitably will be those very things that we destroy ourselves with. It's one thing to tell lies to other people. That might affect credibility, that might affect how somebody looks at you. But it's another thing whenever we start to lie to ourselves. And that's what happens whenever you start to go down that road of drugs and alcohol and things like that. You start to lie to yourself. You start to try to convince yourself that what you're doing is not that bad, even though you know deep down inside it's killing you. But you try to do these things just to cope with the everyday menial task. And then pretty soon it gets so overwhelming that it consumes your every waking move, your every waking thought, and it takes you to a place that I would say that nobody ever wants to be at. It doesn't start off there. That's where it ends up every single time. Like I said, don't do it.
Have you noticed a change in the way people treat you since your accident?
Maybe to an extent. Before my accident, I walked into Walmart and I looked like everybody else. Since my accident, here I'm a young, I'm a person that, if I didn't have a scar on my body and I saw somebody who looked like me walk in, I would be curious. I'm not saying that I would stare, but I would be curious. I would want to know more about that person. And so I would say at the very beginning, whenever people meet me, it probably throws them off a little bit. But after people have spent any amount of time around me, I'm a normal person. We just look a little bit different.
What have you noticed is different from before your accident when you were in public places to after?
I wouldn't say so. People that are just, blatantly ignorant and whisper behind your back and you try to talk to them and they look at you like you're not even human and everything like that. It'd be real easy for me to just get upset and get all ate up by something like that. But you know what? I'm not going to give that person or those people that power over me in my life. The way I look at it is, hey, at least I'm doing better than they are, I guess.
How would your parents describe you before and after your accident?
It's kind of hard for me to, answer for my parents because I'm not them, but I'll do it to the best of my ability. My mom said before my accident, and I've heard her say this several times, that, she loved me, but she didn't like me because she didn't trust me. And she knew I was up to something. I tell people a lot that God tells women everything because mamas know when something's up with their baby. They know when something's not right. And she knew there was something off in my life before my accident happened. Fast forward to where we're at now today, my dad's my best friend. My parents and I were close. My mom does all my scheduling and booking and coordinating for my traveling. I travel and speak over 300 days out of the year. I speak in high schools during the week and churches on the weekend. And, I would say that the way that she looks at me now, the way that my father looks at me now, is Brad is a guy that loves his family, loves his friend, and is super excited about having this little miracle happen in March the 18th by the name of Braden Allen Heron when we have our first son.
How has this event changed your life?
It's hard for me to say something bad that's came out of this in my life. I honestly, I can't think of anything bad other than being disfigured. And I'm okay with that. You guys might say, I don't know, Brad, I can't. I have a pimple on my face and I don't want to go to school. Well, that's you. It's not me. I've decided to wear my scars with a badge of honor because I believe I was trusted with these scars. Not only trusted to be able to, walk out and be a billboard for don't do meth, but I was trusted for people to see me and to realize, you know what? If he can make it through some of the things, some of the adversity, some of the struggles and the obstacles that he's had to go through in life, you know what? I can make it in life too. I believe in people. I don't believe there's a such thing as a bad person out there. I believe there's people who have made poor choices in life, but I believe you can also make a better choice the next day. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter how we start this race. It matters how we end this race and how we affect others and we bring hope to others whenever we're running that race as well. I heard a guy say one time that you eat an elephant one bite at a time. Well, I also think that's how you change the world, one person at a time. It starts with you, and once you get okay with you on the inside, then you can go out and you can help other people to get out of some of the obstacles, struggles, and the things that they're dealing with in life. You guys, my name is Brad Heron, and I approve this message. Thank you very much.